Good evening and welcome to this edition of the AGP Sport for today. I'm Samuel Gillis. Thanks for joining us. We begin this cast with some cricket news. Following an unlucky start to the India tour of the Caribbean in the T20 series, skipper Jason Holder is confident in his team's ability in pulling off a few wins of their own. The details in this Stanford Howard report.
Matter of hours, West Indies will face India in the first ODI. Will this be West Indies' comeback, or will India surpass them as they did in the T20?
We had quite a bit of time to sit back and think about, how the World Cup went and our shortcomings. Yeah, we had a few discussions as a group already, and obviously our batting let us down in the World Cup. I didn't think we batted well enough for longer periods. We always spoke about having a set batter at the very, very end, and guys batting deep and taking the responsibility. So that's definitely one area we want to pinpoint and obviously correct. And I felt as though the bowling was pretty decent throughout the World Cup. We had bright sparks by people like Sheldon Cottrell, and everybody else pretty much chipped in. But I think consistency really plagued us in the World Cup, and we definitely have to touch up there.
That was skipper Jason Holder ahead of the first ODI match of the three-match series, which will be bowled off at Providence on Thursday. West Indies and India both have a long batting history against each other. West Indies lost 3-1 to India last year in India and repeat this performance in the Caribbean. In echoing confidence in his team, the skipper pointed out that the Windies had a couple of weeks off, sitting and thinking. He gave his views on what occurred.
Players are fresh. They've come with different ideas, different concepts, of obviously the ways they want to improve and the ways that we can get better. I spoke about a few areas just a while ago, and then I just think it's a matter for each and every individual to play their role, understand what is expected of them and just execute. Execution goes a long way. You can sit back and plan as many things as you would like, but at the end of the day, on a given day, you must come out and execute your plan. So I think each and every individual just has to put their hands up and perform their role.
With the Universe boss Christopher Gale back in the ODI squad, the Windies skipper said his presence on the side is always felt in the cricket field. Also addressing the issue of the pitch and climatic conditions at Providence, Holder said that for one thing he can tell, it's very hot.
I saw the game a couple of days ago, in the T20 encounter, and I felt the wicket was a good wicket, a bit slow, which is what you come to expect here in Guyana, but overall it was a very good cricket wicket. So I expect all similar things. I think the last couple of one-days which we played here, obviously we had some high-scoring encounters as well, and stroke play was pretty decent. So yeah, I expect a really good pitch, and I expect some good conditions here to play some cricket here in Guyana, Providence.
And if there's anything the West Indies need to work on, is their batting. And the skipper believes that once the players go in, they need to play deep so they can come out on top. He also noted if you look at some of the other successful sides in cricket, their main players, when they go into bat, they win games for their team. And West Indies have found themselves often in too many situations where they have starts and didn't convert. And that's one area he thinks as captain they need to work on. And once they tackle that, they'll be able to win games.
For AGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard from Providence.
Now some Panam news. Guyana's athletes after their opening day on the tracks did not deliver as expected, however, remains in the hunt. We hear more in this Jaden Samuels report.
Local athletes remain on the hunt for a medal this year as the Pan American Games move down to athletics, with the local athletes not making the finals of their respective events. Archibald, who is coming off rich form from the just concluded Allian Pompey meet here, finished third in 10.6 seconds, but will hope to deliver in the long jumps.
Hopefully now that the cobwebs are out of the system, Archibald is ranked high in the long jump, which is tomorrow. We're hoping that he can pre-R and break the national record. And Vanessa is already starting to focus on the 200 meter. She seems to be a better 200 meter athlete.
For the women's department, Vanessa Thompson, after a slow start, did not qualify for the finals but will look to come back well in her long jump and 200-meter events. Still to come this week, Alia Abrams in the women's 400 and Gina McCammon operating in the women's 100-meter hurdles will make their appearances for Guyana later this week. Meantime, Daniel Scott doing business for Guyana in the men's 400-meter freestyle freestyle also failed to make the cut, but team manager Ivan Prasad believes that the games will give the swimmers the much-needed exposure, which will bring the medals. Jaden Samuels, each GP Sport.
In cycling news, some 11 countries have confirmed that they are heading to Guyana later this week to participate in the 13th edition of the Junior Caribbean Cycling Championship, which would be taking place in the green town of Bartica. Jaden Samuels gives us the details in this report.
Mayor of Bartica, His Worship Gifford Marshall, and the President of the Guyana Cycling Federation, Horace Burrows, in a recent meeting with HGP Sport, assured that all is in place for the successful hosting of the prestigious cycling championship. Marshall is calling for across-the-board support to ensure the successful hosting of the event.
And what happens at this event, of course, will determine whether Guyana hold future events coming forward. So together as a people, we need to work to ensure the success of it, and I believe it will be successful by the grace of God, and most importantly, Guyana will come out on top.
Countries have already started to make their way in, with Barbados, Aruba, Puerto Rico, Cayman Islands, the Bahamas, and Grenada already here. On Thursday, the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Anguilla, Bermuda, and Suriname will arrive. Burrows, in an invited comment, stated that despite the many hurdles, the Guyana Cycling Federation, in association with Bartica's Mayor and Town Council, are pulling out all the stops to ensure that the championship is a success. He also mentioned that having the opportunity of hosting such a meet can only augur well for the sport in Guyana.
Cycling in general will be a big push in the country after this meet. I mean, cycling we've been pushing cycling, but I think it's going to be this is a major stepping stone, a major event for us. And this, I think there's a lot more youths is going to be picking up their bike and say they want to ride, they want to train, they want to do, what they see happen in Bartica.
The time trials would be contested on Saturday, while the road race will take center stage on Sunday. So far, close to 50 cyclists in the juvenile and junior categories, both male and female, will be aiming to outpedal each other this weekend. A few more nations were expected to submit their travel itineraries by last evening to the Guyana Cycling Federation. Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport.
And finally in sport this evening, TV umpires may soon become the sole judges of front foot no balls if planned ICC trials proved successful. Hear more in this report. The ICC will identify a number of limited over series over the next 6 months for implementing a system where the TV umpire and not the on-field umpire will call no balls for overstepping. The system has been trialed before, notably in the ODI series between England and Pakistan in 2016, but it will be rolled out on a much broader scale this time. Geoff Allardyce, the ICC General Manager for Cricket Operations, said the idea is that a third umpire will present an image of the front foot landing within a few seconds of the delivery. He would communicate to the on-field umpire if a no ball has been delivered. So every delivery on the field will be played as a fair delivery until called otherwise. In 2016, it ended up taking an average 8 seconds between the foot landing and a call being made to the TV umpire. The ICC was happy the decision was made quickly enough, though there were a couple instances where a tighter call took longer. The hope is that this process will become quicker the more TV umpires get used to it. The umpires missed a no ball in Australia's game against West Indies in the World Cup more recently, which accorded significance against the event as Chris Gale was dismissed next ball. Had the no ball been called, the next ball would have been a free hit. For HGP Sport, I am Samuel Gillis. Before we go, some news just in. Aliyah Abrams qualifies for the women's 400-meter finals, Guyana's first qualification in the Pan American Games thus far. That concludes our cast for today. Do have a pleasant rest of the evening, and do remember the first one-day international West Indies taking on India is set for Guyana National Stadium, Providence on Thursday. First ball is 9:30 a.m. Goodbye.